Colin had a problem and a microphone to spare. Thomas took it up and so the podcast went to air. For weeks and months they trolled through every single DVD. They've unwrapped all the ones they can and now they're cellulose free. Now they're cellulose free.
Hello dear listener and welcome to Cellulose Free. My name is Colin and with me as always is my fellow film watcher, compadre and son, Thomas.
Hi, hello.
What have you been up to?
I went out.
You did.
And then I came back.
It was a great expedition.
It was.
Yes, and then you came back.
I did.
With the spoils of your expedition firmly in your grasp.
Yes.
Two bottles of sarsaparilla.
Firmly weighing down my bag.
Yes. I went for a walk also. I went for a walk as opposed to catching buses everywhere.
There was some walking involved.
Yeah, was there 19 kilometres of walking?
No, there wasn't 19 kilometres of walking.
Okay, well, there was for me. I've also been scanning lots and lots of old family photos so that there is more than just the originals in existence in the world. Yeah, what else? I've been driving helicopters on the back of trucks across Europe.
Yep. From the comfort of your own home.
That's right. Who would have thought that of all the games that are available to me to play, I find deep satisfaction in driving trucks. Semi-trailers. What else do they call them? Big rigs.
Lorries?
No, lorries are different. Lorries are... They don't have the articulation.
Right.
They're just like a lorry is a truck, but a truck isn't a lorry.
Right.
I think. Anyway, anything else you've been up to? Good.
Trying to think. That baseball is now in the off season.
Excellent.
For the next couple of weeks.
Oh.
But before it went off, there were sharks.
Right.
And a couple of the stadiums are crime scenes now. So that's unrelated to the sharks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Good. We have a movie to watch.
We do.
And I believe it's a movie that you have not seen.
I've not seen it, no.
I established that yesterday, I think it was, or was it this morning?
I can't remember.
Oh, it's all a blur.
Seems kind of irrelevant in the long run.
It does. But you have not seen it. I have seen it. It is on the shelf, but it is wrapped because since purchasing it and having it sit on the shelf for a long period of time, it became available on numerous streaming services and I watched it on one of those, which is probably what we'll do. Yeah,
which does bring up the question of why this has even been dragged out.
I didn't. Morgan did, I think.
Right.
Yes. Okay, no, but it is handy that he has dragged it out.
Was he asked? Did he ask?
No, he asked what we're watching tonight. And I told him, and he obviously went and grabbed it to find out what it was, and I think he decided that he's not interested. I think.
And yes, it ended up all the way down here anyway.
Well, that's right. Yes. What is this film of which we are talking about?
It's the Imitation game, as opposed to the genuine game.
With Benedict Cumberbatch.
Mm.
The reason I said it is handy that we have the disc, I mean, you could have bought it up on the app, but I am going to get you to read the plot synopsis off the back of the case and then compare it to the plot synopsis that is contained within the app that we use to find out whether a film is available on a streaming service.
Okay.
Which is what I've brought up. Because my impression is that they vary quite wildly.
Okay, then.
As far as what tack and what slant they take, as far as trying to draw the viewer in. So, Thomas, would you be so kind? I have the second version in my hot little hand, so I will read it.
I suspect they're probably grabbing it off IMDb.
Possibly, yes. All right, so this is what is written on the back of the case.
During the winter of 1952, British authorities entered the home of mathematician, cryptanalyst and war hero Alan Turing to investigate a reported burglary. They instead ended up arresting Turing himself on charges of gross indecency, an accusation that would lead to his devastating conviction for the criminal offence of homosexuality. Little did officials know, they were actually incriminating the pioneer of modern-day computing. Famously leading a motley group of scholars, linguists, chess champions and intelligence officers, he was credited with cracking the so-called unbreakable codes of Germany's World War II Enigma machine. An intense and haunting portrayal of a brilliant, complicated man, The Imitation game follows a genius who, under nail-biting pressure, helped to shorten the war and in turn save millions of lives.
Right. Okay. It's interesting, the nail-biting bit, because that they mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is the synopsis from the app called
Just Watch,
which is very handy to find out whether something is on a streaming service. Based on the real-life story of legendary cryptanalyst Alan Turing, the film portrays the nail-biting race against time by Turing and his brilliant team of codebreakers at Britain's top-secret government code and cipher school at Bletchley Park during the darkest days of World War II.
I can confirm that is taken off IMDb, but supposedly written by Studio Canal.
Okay.
Which is weird, because I'm not sure Studio Canal is in any way involved in this. So it might be someone pretending to be Studio Canal.
So a somewhat different and yet similar plot synopsis, but the second of which makes no reference to...
you know what, they're probably the UK distributors.
Right, okay. I guess we will find out after we watch it which is the more accurate plot synopsis. We will find out once we've watched it. We're not going to open the wrapper. We're going to bring up Netflix and we're going to watch it on that and see what we think on the flip side.
Turn to side B.
No, we won't. Well, I guess if we're catching... Yes. No, we're not going to.
Well, okay, we put it through the Enigma machine, and what comes out is not the letter B, it's some other letter entirely. It might be B, actually.
It could be B.
Turn to side B.
Mongrel. So what did you think?
I quite enjoyed that. That was good.
It's an incredibly well put together film.
It is, yes.
Sort of drip feeding from different times and places, so that you're slowly forming the picture in your head. And yeah, solid film.
There's some historical inaccuracies in there.
Yes, I suspected that you would immediately dive into the historical inaccuracies. While you were doing so, you missed like 4 text things come up on the screen that were extremely important, that I hope that you actually managed to find the same information as you were looking for your historical inaccuracies.
Well,
because they were important, and you missed them.
For starters, I'm going to spoil history here.
Yes.
For starters, at the end of the film...
If you haven't seen history... Yeah.
At the end of the film, it's implied that Turing mentally deteriorated as a result of the hormone therapy, and all accounts are that no, it was just physical problems.
Right. So did he commit suicide?
It's debatable. There is evidence to suggest that there may have been an accident involving cyanide fumes in an experiment that Turing was running.
Right.
It's unclear. The police at the time ruled it as suicide, but it's not cut and dry like that.
Okay.
What else was there here that I wanted to bring up? Oh, there were like 200 machines, not just this one.
As in Turing machines,
as in the Bombay, the cracking machine.
Right.
There were 200 of them, and none of them were constructed at Bletchley Park. But it's a film, and you've got to keep it simple.
Exactly. So, what? Any other historical inaccuracies you want to bring up while?
That I want to bring up. Turing was somewhat more congenial than the film would lead you to expect. Accounts from friends of Turing, and he had friends, said that he did have a reasonable sense of humour and good working relationships. But you've got to have conflict, so...
Yeah, obviously, well and truly on the autism spectrum, and they did portray that as being the case in the film, possibly a little simplistically, but I never met the guy. So
no.
So we should yes, take the word of his friends. It is a difficult one to fathom as far as one of the things you missed on the screen was the criminal implications as far as his homosexuality was concerned, and how it was in England. Just on that point, and we will probably end up having to make this for mature audiences only, because of mature themes concerning this podcast. All right. Do you have any idea when homosexuality was decriminalised in Tasmania?
It's sooner than I'd think, isn't it?
Yep.
Things were bad.
It was less than 2 years before you were born. So, May of 97, it was. Up till that point, if a man was convicted of homosexual acts between consenting adults, upwards of 25 years in prison. Tasmania was the last state of Australia that decriminalised, and so all through my high school years, it was don't speak, don't tell, don't there were a number of friends that I knew that were in that boat, but as far as acting on it is concerned, you just didn't or tried to desperately to keep it as quiet as possible. A lot of lives were shattered and continue to be damaged by it.
And the cycle of moral panics continues.
Yeah. Yes. So that sort of hit home quite strongly when I watched it the first time. Acting was really solid.
Yep.
There were a number of stereotypes there, but were performed well enough that they weren't rampant stereotypes. They were well-acted stereotypes. and I think there is a difference between a poorly acted stereotype and a well-acted one. Just the feel of the era and the changing between eras even. Just a finely crafted film, I thought. And the music was great, and cinematography was great.
Yeah. So
you appreciated it then?
I did, yes.
Good.
It was good.
Good. Well, it's certainly staying on the shelf. It'll remain wrapped until it inevitably will become necessary to unwrap it. But,
or someone can't be bothered going through the streaming services.
That's right. Speaking of which, okay, is it my brain, or are we watching a 30 frames per second reduced down to 24 or 25 frames a second? Because every time there's a pan on most streaming services, when the camera pans, you get this judder effect every...
Well, that's an interesting question.
Did you notice it?
I didn't, no.
Oh, okay then. It could be my brain then.
It's interesting you bring that up, because traditionally cinema has been a 24 frame per second medium.
Yep.
And from what I'm seeing here, Netflix uses a range of frame rates, so I don't know.
So could it be their source files, if they've got a range of different frame rates, if the source file happens to be an NTSC copy of... Yeah, I don't know. But if there's anybody else out there who notices that judder, if you've got a pan of the camera going from left to right or right to left, but it looks like it goes in like smooth pan and then stop for a second, smooth pan, stop for a second. Sorry, when I say second, just a split second, but enough for me to... It could be just my brain buffering. Yeah. I don't know. But it seems very mathematical, the steps between it. But, anyway, getting completely off the track there. Are we done talking about the...
I don't think I have anything else.
I do strongly recommend this film if you have not seen it. It is quite an emotional film as well. Obviously from the stuff that we fumbled through just then, but we might move on then.
The following segment has no title. Please keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times.
I might have something. I need to check the Facebook to see if there was anything there, but I might have something from elsewhere.
We had a comment referring to an episode back, not last episode, but the episode before, from Lee. Can I remember what it was?
Can you remember what it was?
I cannot remember what it was.
Lee mentioned on The Life Aquatic that the end credit sequence was an homage.
That's right. And did he provide a link? I think
he did provide a link, yes.
And I watched that. And
I haven't watched it, but
yes. That's quite a sequence, actually. So if you are not on our Facebook group page. I'll put a link in the show notes for the sequence that was a homage to the end credits of The Life Aquatic were a homage to something else, and this will be a link to it.
Apologies to Entuosferatu usernames, who...
oh yes, we're so sorry.
Who I managed to get stuck in his head that the lyrics to They Might Be Giants in the middle, which I'm sure this hasn't helped at all.
No. Have you listened to that podcast?
I've not, no. What did you do?
I may have sort of strengthened that sticking in of the...
Oh dear.
Yes, but I didn't use the They Might Be Giants version. I used the original.
Right.
Yes. The original public service announcement song.
Huh.
Yeah.
Hadn't realised it was a cover.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You can go down that rabbit hole later, but yes.
And there we go, in the 60s.
Yeah. Quite interesting. Quite interesting indeed.
New York City, of course.
Of course. In the middle. Yeah. So, yes, Thomas was completely oblivious to the fact that I reinforced the earworm and probably confused everyone entirely because most people are more familiar with the They Might Be Giants version and only now realise that it is a cover.
Well, there we go.
Yes. So wasn't this unnamed segment just worth it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just checking if I've got anything else, because I post in a few places, but I don't think there's anything else this week.
Anything on TikTok?
No, I'm not on TikTok.
Flim Flam?
No.
Bling Blong Bling?
No.
Twang.
Afraid not, no.
Oh, dear. By the way, I am going to NFT all of those things and make billions whilst stripping the planet of its oil reserves by chewing up large amounts of energy.
While not actually ensuring in any way ownership of any of them.
Yes. Look, I could rattle on for hours about the madness that is.
I probably could too.
Yes.
But we're not going to.
We are not. We are not. I think enough has been said on that matter. So we shall move on.
Pick a film for next week so we can go to bed.
I'm intrigued. I have no idea. We haven't discussed this, but it is Thomas's turn. He has run out of purchases as far as I'm aware, although he has gone wandering a couple of times since his last wander to purchase DVDs, so I don't know whether he's added any to his pile or whether he's going to pluck things. Thomas, you tell us.
I don't really go into stores physically that much.
No.
I haven't purchased anything. And I don't really have anything particularly in mind at the moment.
Okay. So are you going to use the wonderful tool that's on the My Movies app?
To select from one of my 90 remaining selections.
Maybe you're 90.
On our shelves.
I should point out that there is quite a bit of overlap as far as Thomas's list and my list. So it may well come up with something that's on my list as well. Are you ready with your device to give that device a shake?
I am.
That will randomly select one from your list? That wasn't vigorous enough.
It was exactly vigorous enough.
Okay then. All right.
Oh,
Am I familiar with this film?
you should be.
Okay.
You should be familiar with this film. I'm not going to read the description and get you to work it out, because it will be evident immediately. So, Marvel Studios is a company that exists under the auspices of the Walt Disney Company.
The Walt Disney conglomerate.
Or hell, the conglomerate. And they've produced a lot of films in the past 12, 13 years.
Yes, they have.
And one such film is a sequel of a sequel, and there's been a few of those in there.
Okay. You're not making this easy for me.
I'm not making this easy.
Okay.
And this one involves an apocalypse, which also isn't making it easy, because there's been a few sequels of sequels that have involved apocalyptic events.
Yes.
This one involves a particular Norse god.
Ah, okay. Are we Ragnaring on the rocks?
We may be, yes.
Excellent. I am thrilled. I'm excited.
This is...
Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I think it might be the best of the 3-4 films.
I very much agree. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is just... it was so unexpected. I confess that I went into the cinema thinking, yeah, I don't mind Thor, but...
But you see, it's directed by Taika Waititi.
It is indeed. Yes. And boy, does he grasp it by those Thor wings and... Was that Hercules?
I don't know. Oh dear.
Dear. And runs with it and just gives it a really good shaking up, I think. So, excellent. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Again, this is one of those moments where we love our dear listener, but we honestly aren't doing this for our dear listener. And so this is one of those moments where it won't be so much of a chore, I guess. I don't know. I enjoy doing this podcast, but there are some episodes that are more fun than others. For example, the film we watched today, I'm really glad that I rewatched it. But I don't find it an enjoyable film. You know, it has moments of bits that I enjoy, but it's more poignant than enjoyable, I think, which has its place. So
now, where was this 10 minutes ago when we were actually discussing the film?
Exactly. Well, the whole sublime to the ridiculous thing has happened yet again, and it's. It just goes to show that the whole craft of movie making serves all sorts of purposes, and next week is serving the purpose of tickling the funny bone and just having a good old romp. Do you have anything else to add to that?
No.
Good.
Next week will be good.
Next week will be good.
Be around for that.
We hope that you can join us. Again, we will sit and watch it, and within minutes of watching it, we will try to put something together, and it won't work. And then 10 minutes after we finish recording, things will come to us. And this format is great.
Yeah. Well, it has to be something, because we've been doing it now for over 2 years.
Yeah, it's it's part of the routine now, isn't it?
Yep.
the autism slant hits home very much so. Okay, we're going to leave you.
Yep.
We hope that you can join us next week, but until then, we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
You have been listening to Cellulose Free. Your hosts were Colin, who produces and edits the show, and Thomas, who makes the artwork and music. Cellulose Free is recorded in the Deranged Cat Studios in scenic Tasmania, Australia. We keep track of our extensive physical media collection through My Movies, which we highly recommend. You can find links to that, as well as other places you can find us, in the show notes. Cellulose Free is a Hi Hello production.
Did any of that make sense?
I don't know. I can't tell. I've got some real blood rush going right now.
Yeah, so have I. I'm going zing. My brain's going zing, zing.
My chin is vibrating.
Yeah. Oh. Why did you get that, Thomas? I'm sorry. You got poor genes. Handed down by your father.
Why did you do that? They were rashy and torn up.
That's right. And the zip never stays up.